right, let's dive in. Today, we're all about Gemini.
Google's answer to ChatGPT.
You got it. And specifically, we're looking at what it means for all you iPhone users out there.
You guys sent in some articles.
Oh, yeah, tons of them.
Yeah.
So clearly, you're pretty curious about this whole thing. Is it going to be like the Siri killer? Or a total game changer? Or
just another app.
Exactly. Well, let's unpack it all.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting is how iPhone users initially,
They had limited access, right?
yeah, like they could only use it through the Google app.
And only, like, certain features, too.
Exactly. The full experience, especially that voice-activated Gemini Live, that was only for Android users.
Well, not anymore.
Nope.
Not anymore. Now you can just, like, grab the dedicated Gemini app.
Straight from the App Store.
Boom. Just like that. iPhone users, you are officially in the game. All those features, including Gemini Live, that Android users have been, like, going on and on about since June 5th.
That was the initial Android release.
Yeah, way back when. Well, no more second-class citizen stuff in the AI world for you guys.
I think this is a pretty big deal.
Oh, for sure.
It shows Google is serious about bringing, all their AI stuff.
To everyone.
Exactly. A wider audience. And that definitely puts some pressure on Apple to, step up their game, right?
Ooh, things are getting spicy. Okay, so let's break down this whole Gemini Live thing.
That's the core of it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Instead of just typing, you can actually,
Talk to Gemini.
Yeah. And from what I've been reading, it seems way more natural, way less,
Robotic.
Yeah. Less like you're talking to a machine.
Think of it this way. You can almost brainstorm with Gemini Live just like you would with a colleague.
But Gemini Live has, all the information in the world at its fingertips.
Precisely. Google even tweeted back in August about how natural it is.
I think I saw that one. They were talking about how you could just interrupt, change topics mid-conversation.
It's meant to be very fluid.
Okay, so that does sound pretty different from, the whole "Hey Siri, set a timer" kind of thing.
Yeah.
So is this it for Siri? Is this the Siri killer everyone's been whispering about?
Well, I wouldn't count Siri out just yet.
Okay, so there's more to the story.
Right. Gemini Live might be amazing at, natural conversation and having all this knowledge.
Yeah.
But it can't handle things like your smart home or your notifications on iPhone, at least not at this point.
So there are limitations.
Yeah.
For now, at least.
Right.
One of the articles did mention, though, that on Android, Gemini Live is, way more integrated.
Can control all of that stuff.
Yeah. So maybe that gives us a hint about where things might go with iPhone.
Right. It's definitely possible.
That raises a good question, then. How is Apple going to respond to all this?
Yeah. Are they just going to sit back and watch, or will we see some major changes to Siri?
It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. For now, though, even with those limitations, the Gemini iPhone app still sounds pretty impressive. I mean, it has most of the features that Android users get, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much all there.
Like what?
Well, you've got text-based conversations.
Okay.
Image analysis with detailed descriptions.
Ooh, so like an art critic in your pocket.
Exactly. And of course, there's Gemini Live, so you can actually talk to it and have that natural interaction.
And you mentioned before they even added French language support.
Yeah, it is.
Shows they're serious about making it accessible to more people.
They are.
Okay, so you can talk to it, analyze images, even tap into other Google apps to do things like set reminders. Seems like they're trying to create this whole hub for, all things Google on your iPhone.
That does seem to be their goal.
Interesting. But, even though you can do all that cool stuff within the app, there's still no, system-level integration for Gemini Live.
Right. Siri still has control over the core stuff.
So Siri still holds that crown.
For now, anyway. Makes you wonder what the future holds, huh?
I know, right?
Google's pushing all these AI boundaries, while Apple's holding tight to their system.
Yeah.
Could this change how we even use iPhones?
It makes me think about, back when apps first came out.
Oh, yeah.
It took a while for them to, really integrate and actually change how we did things.
Right.
Maybe Gemini's at that same, tipping point.
That's an interesting thought. Makes you wonder, are iPhone users even ready for this?
You mean, this whole new way of interacting?
Yeah, having a back and forth with AI to get stuff done.
Well, Google did say they were determined to make Gemini accessible to as many people as possible.
That's from one of the articles, right?
Yeah. And launching a dedicated iPhone app is a pretty huge step in that direction.
Definitely. Before, iPhone users had to, like, go through the Google app.
Which felt so clunky.
Yeah, like an afterthought. But now, it's right there.
Front and center.
Competing with Siri.
Head to head. So, okay, imagine this. You're talking to Gemini Live about your day, right? And then you just seamlessly ask it to analyze a photo you took.
Okay.
Or, like, give you some creative inspiration for a project.
I see where you're going.
Or even, like, draft an email. It's like having a personal assistant.
A researcher.
A creative partner all in one.
Yeah, and that's what's different about Gemini compared to, you know, those older assistants.
Yeah.
It's not just about, like, barking commands.
Yeah.
It's about that genuine conversation.
Like bouncing ideas off a colleague.
Exactly.
But a colleague who knows everything.
And can process it super fast.
Seriously.
Mm.
From what I've read, it can do everything from translate languages to write different creative stuff.
To answer your question.
Even if they're, like, super open-ended or challenging.
It's pretty clear Google thinks this natural conversational way is the future.
Like how we'll interact with tech.
No more rigid commands or confusing menus. Just, you know.
Talk into our devices.
Just like we talk to each other.
I like it. But let's be real. Siri has a huge advantage.
Right.
Like, it's built into the iPhone.
It controlled all that core stuff like notifications and settings.
The stuff Gemini Live can't touch.
Well, at least not yet.
That yet is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It is, isn't it?
I mean, if the Android version already has that deep integration
It makes you wonder what Google's planning.
for iPhone,
Yeah, that's the big question.
that is the question.
Yeah.
If they bring those capabilities to the iPhone version.
Well, things could get really interesting.
Oh, I can see it now.
What?
Hey, Gemini, turn down the lights and remind me to call Mom tomorrow.
All in one go.
Boom. Game changer.
And that's what makes this whole thing so exciting. You know, it's
Yeah.
like this race between Apple and Google.
To see who can create the most seamless, intuitive, helpful assistant.
Apple has that deep integration advantage, but Google's pushing those conversational boundaries.
A good time to be a user, honestly.
Who wouldn't want more choice and control?
Exactly. So this is where you come in.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
Are you ready for this AI revolution on your iPhone?
Team Gemini. Team Siri.
Or maybe a bit of both.
This feels bigger than just, like, Google versus Apple, you know?
Yeah, it really does.
This is about, like, the future of how we interact with technology.
Like, will we all be talking to our devices soon?
Right. Instead of typing or tapping.
Will AI assistants become more like partners?
Ooh, partners.
Yeah, helping us not just with tasks.
But with, like, creative stuff.
Learning.
Decision-making.
Exactly. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. I mean, a few years ago, talking to AI was like...
Sci-fi stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now it's, like, right there in our pockets.
Makes you wonder what's next.
What will even the next few years bring?
It's almost impossible to predict, but the difference in approach is interesting, right?
Between Google and Apple.
Yeah, Google's all about pushing those AI limits.
While Apple's focused on control.
And, like, keeping things within their ecosystem.
Right. It'll be interesting to see which vision wins out, you know?
Yeah, which one resonates more with people?
Because ultimately, it's up to us, isn't it? The users.
They get to choose.
Do we go for the most powerful AI, even if it means less control?
Or stick with what's familiar, even if we miss out on new stuff?
That's a tough one.
It is. And it kind of reflects the bigger conversation happening around tech, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Openness versus control.
Innovation versus stability.
User experience versus privacy.
No easy answers there.
Nope. But that's what makes it so exciting.
It does. It's like we're all part of this.
This evolution.
And we're shaping it with our choices.
Feels like being on the front lines of a tech revolution.
I like that. And that's why we do this whole deep dive thing.
Right.
To give you guys the info you need to navigate it all.
So whether you're trying out Gemini or sticking with Siri, just
stay curious.
Ask questions.
Be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, because it's a big one.
All right, so to wrap it all up, Gemini is here. It's powerful.
And it could totally shake things up.
Whether it becomes your go-to or just a glimpse into the future of AI.
One thing's for sure.
Things are about to get very interesting.
They are. And the pace of innovation, it's incredible.
It really is.
So here's a thought to leave you with. What if the real winner isn't Google or Apple?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
What if it's all of us?
The users.
The ones with more choice and control than ever before.
Until next time.
Keep diving.